things weren't looking good a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at kind of below average levels.
Sanchez says on August 11th, we were at 26.2 inches of precipitation total for the summer. The recent rain brought us up to 28.1 inches, which is about average. These totals are important for our soil moisture that affects spring runoff. We have another chance of storms today.
Today, windy out of the south, 90 degrees the high, and we can't rule out a slight chance for an isolated storm. 88 for your Saturday, also windy, gusting to 40 miles an hour again, mostly sunny skies.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says there's currently a wind advisory in effect in the northern Wasatch Front until tomorrow night. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, the Federal Reserve is prepared to start cutting interest rates from its current 23-year high. Chair Jerome Powell says inflation seems largely under control, but still inflicts pain on millions of households. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 329 points right now. We're at 41,042. Coming up, it looks like we're starting to get cooler temperatures for the weekend. We'll check it. The KSL forecast is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the nines, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Everyone knows Labor Day's the best time to buy a Bullfrog spa. Start fall off with a new hot tub or swim spa for relaxation, therapy, and family fun. Bullfrog Spa's patented jetpack therapy system makes it great with personalized jetpack massage options. Now through Labor Day, get up to $5,000 off MSRP, a free water care system upgrade, and special financing. Save even more on limited scratch and dent models from our factory. Don't miss Labor Day savings at your nearby Bullfrog Spa's factory store today.
Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home.
Hello, it's Congressman Blakemore here. It's my honor to represent the men and women at Hill Air Force Base and advocate for Northern Utah's defense community. This year, I was grateful to secure several wins for Hill in the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2025, including a pay raise for junior uniformed airmen, authorization for 2 military construction projects, and full funding for the Sentinel program, which will provide thousands of Utah jobs, modernize our ground-based intercontinental ballistic missile program, and usher in a new era of nuclear deterrence. My bill, called the Retain Skilled Veterans Act, was also included in the NDAA to remove the arbitrary 180-day waiting period for veterans who are seeking to transition to civilian service at the DoD after their time in uniform. My team and I are working hard, coordinating with Hill Air Force Base leadership and finding solutions to their needs and challenges. It's an honor to serve those who serve our nation, and I encourage all our service members and veterans to reach out at blakemore.house.gov if we can be assistance to you. Paid for with official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
August is National Cashback Month. Didn't know? Okay, maybe it's not National Cashback Month. But at Hercules First Federal Credit Union, they think a cashback month is a great idea.
It's a great idea!
Told ya. So get ready for cash back in August. But first, let's talk benefits of being a member at Hercules. You'll receive $150 when you open a new checking account with a qualifying direct deposit, as well as getting access to travel rewards and cash back with the Hercules Lifestyle Rewards debit card. Get up to 25% cash back when you use Ticket Express to purchase tickets for theme parks, movie theaters, and local events through August 31st. Details await at HerculesCU.com. That's HerculesCU.com. Hercules Credit Union. Growing stronger together. Equal housing lender. All accounts insured to $250,000 by NCUA.
Suffering through the summer heat with an old, inefficient air conditioner? It's time to chill out with a brand new system from Gillette Services. Our expert install crews can be at your door the next day, getting your home cool and comfortable fast. Right now, enjoy sizzling savings with our limited time rebates and incentives. Save over $7,500 on your new AC system. Don't wait. Call 385-GET-COOL or visit GilletteServices.com for your free estimate today. Gillette Services, your homegrown service pros, keeping you cool all summer long.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, Amanda, lane restrictions due to construction is gumming up the works for South Jordan drivers. This is eastbound 114th South trying to get to I-15. You have about a mile of delay there. Southbound Legacy Parkway also still at a crawl through most of Farmington due to lane restrictions. And we have a crash at the bottom of the exit ramp from I-215's West Belton West Valley at 3500 South. Choose a gorgeous new countertop for your kitchen or bath at the Bedrock Quartz Stone Sale, with selected choices at 50% off in August. Visit one of 7 showrooms today or bedrockquartz.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We have about a 30% chance of thunderstorms today with a high of 90 degrees. Right now, it's 75 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. I'm Amanda Dixon. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Well, it is Friday, and Taylor Morgan has decided to work with me on a Friday morning. Hi, Taylor.
Debbie, so great to be with you on another Friday morning.
I always like to remind our listeners that Dave is still on vacation. He'll be back next week, and Taylor is often co-hosting KSL at Night right here from 7 to 9 on KSL News Radio. And from time to time, we get you out of bed early and get you in to fill in for Dave.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to sit in Dave's chair for a few minutes with you, Debbie. And we have so much to get into today. First week of school. My kids are back in school, Debbie. And so when I heard this story about class sizes, when I heard this father who has a kid in the Davis school district say, kindergarten, he said his
second grade.
Second grade.
No, excuse me, fifth grade. Fifth
Look,
grade.
I have a third grader, so I can't even keep track of it, but I know these classes are huge.
Let's get into our top local story.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
And it's also catching the eye of Utah's Capitol Hill. Lawmakers meeting, one of many meetings that they have on Capitol Hill, concerned about ballooning class sizes. And the headline in the Desert News is really what caught my eye this morning. Reporter Marjorie Cortez talking about the $190 million that was set aside to reduce class sizes by lawmakers. And the question is, what happened to that money, Taylor?
Yeah, that is the question. How do we measure class size reduction, Debbie? I feel like often, this is a constant concern from parents, something that we hear so much about, class sizes, right? And it seems that every year the Utah legislature tries to address class sizes in Utah. We have among the largest class sizes in the country. And so we know the legislature recently appropriated $190 million specifically for class size reduction. Well, where does that money go? How do we measure its impact? It seems to me like it just goes down a black hole, Debbie, and I don't know that it's having a direct impact on reducing class sizes. Certainly, it doesn't seem to be having that impact in the Davis School District.
So this school year, I feel like it's Dad Jeffrey Keller who started this conversation. When school was starting, he emailed us here at Broadcast House and said, hey, my daughter's 5th grade class at Farmington Elementary School in the Davis District has a lot of kids. In fact, 37 kids in one 5th grade class. And then the 5th grade class, the second 5th grade class at Farmington Elementary also has 37 kids. So 2 classes, 5th grade classes with 74 kids.
My daughter is 10 years old, one of these children, one of 37 in quite a large class for these young minds. A little worried that, look, my daughter's sharp. I think she'll be okay, but I just worry about other kids and just the kids in general, the teachers. This is a lot to put on just one teacher.
It is a lot, Debbie. Listen, I'm no teacher. I am not qualified to be an educator in any way. However, I do help out with coaching my 3rd graders lacrosse team. When we have about 12 kids on that lacrosse team, and I help manage practice for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, a couple times a week. I'll tell you what, Debbie, after about 20 minutes of herding 12 9-year-olds, I am fried. I don't know how a teacher handles 37 kids 5 days a week. How do they do that?
When you talk about that fifth grade class and then the other fifth grade class right next door with 37 kids each. Now lawmakers are also hearing that some kindergarten classes have as many as 30 students. So 35-year-olds, not 35, 35-year-olds in one class for a teacher, even if there are volunteers in this classroom, which Dad Jeffrey said, yeah, we've got volunteers in the fifth grade class too. Parents are volunteering.
There will undoubtedly be parent support in the class. I've volunteered. My wife volunteers pretty regularly. Other parents, every time I've been in or out of the school, there's a lot of parent involvement. So I think that certainly helps. But I still worry that, is that enough, right? Utah already has the highest student-to-teacher ratio out of all 50 states in our nation, and it doesn't feel like we're doing enough about it.
I think it would be very difficult to teach kids the reading skills, the math skills, whatever other skills, that they need help with to get to, the third grade reading level, the fourth grade reading level, the fifth grade reading level, and also develop their math skills throughout the course of their elementary school years. If they're starting out with 30 kids in a classroom.
Yeah.
My preference, and perhaps this is me being pie in the sky, for a kindergarten class would be right around between 18 and 22 students. Feels still like a lot to me.
Yeah.
But certainly not 30 or 32 students in a kindergarten class. And the question is, with this $190 million that lawmakers set aside to reduce class sizes, how is that money being used? I also wonder, is that enough money? Perhaps we still have so many kids in some districts. Other districts are noticing a drop-off in enrollment. So perhaps we have just an unequal amount of kids compared to what, there's just an inequity in terms of enrollment.
Spots of growth.
You've worked on Capitol Hill. You're a lobbyist. You sit through these meetings. What do you feel like the right step for lawmakers is to figure out, hey, what happened to this $190 million and how it's being spent?
No, it's a really good question. And I want to be fair to lawmakers that this is not a new problem in Utah, right? We are known for having these large class sizes, and I'm not saying that's okay. You could argue, Debbie, that we do more with less when it comes to per pupil funding, when it does come to class sizes. I think lawmakers understand that this is a concern, and they want to do everything possible to address this. I think lawmakers have tried to put more money toward reducing class sizes. I think when the rubber meets the road, however, if the state appropriates that money, the big question is, where does that money go? Well, it goes to the school districts. What are the school districts doing with that money, and where's the accountability? And so I want to give lawmakers credit for addressing this with funding. $190 million is no small amount. The big question is, when it gets to the school districts,
where does it go?
Where does it go? What are they doing with it? And how is it measured?
Let's ask Minority Whip Senator Kathleen Reeby straight ahead. She's going to join the show. She's also a school teacher. She's calling in, and I want to ask her, is it time for an audit? I mean, maybe they're already in the middle of that process where legislative audit needs to happen to figure out if that $200 million that they set aside for class size reduction has gone to where lawmakers wanted it to go. She's on the line, calling in next.
It's finally Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic. Finally, kids are out of the way again. And fall isn't far away. Just as you have for all of life's changes, big and small, rely on the voices you trust to document them. Tim and Amanda, Dave and Debbie, Boyd Matheson, and Jeff Kaplan. We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
Look, I absolutely love when I get together with one of the owners at Master Electrical, Steve, and I just found out we're gonna see each other next week and have a meeting. They have been your trusted source for all of your electrical needs. Master Electrical Service has since 1954. And they offer all kinds of services, whether it's you need an outlet changed out because it hasn't been working right, or the plug falls out of the outlet every time. That's a problem. You got to give them a call. You just bought a new EV and you need a charger in your garage, or you've been talking about buying that generator for ages now. Well, it's time to look them up and have them come out to your house and give you a bid. Well, now there's even more exciting news. They can do more things to help you improve your home because they are joining Mountain Home Services. So that means they can help you with your HVAC, your heating and air, right? Your plumbing. And it all comes with that upfront pricing guarantee that Master Electrical is famous for. No hidden fees, 100% satisfaction guarantee. They are the company we trust here, and so can you. So look them up today online. You can find them at mountainhomeutah.com. Again, mountainhomeutah.com. Or give them a call, 801-543-2222. Again, that phone number, super easy to remember, 801-543-2222.
Life can feel hard or overwhelming sometimes, but you don't have to face things alone. Getting help for yourself or someone you're worried about starts with a call or text to 988, where you always have someone to talk to, someone to help you, and somewhere safe to go. 988 Utah is here for anyone experiencing mental health challenges or emotional distress. 988 Utah can even help you navigate how to support your struggling loved ones. Whether you're struggling with anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, trained professionals are ready to listen and provide free, confidential support 24/7. Utah, don't hesitate to call or text 988 for you or someone you care about. The caring staff at 988 Utah can connect you to the right resources. Learn more at 988lifeline.org.
At Common Spirit Health, we know that lifelong health and well-being starts with primary care. So we have doctors and providers who see you, hear you, know you, and understand you. Because understanding you means understanding your needs. And that leads to a deeper knowledge of the prevention, wellness, and treatment options that may be best for you. It's primary care that treats your whole family like family. It's primary care with human kindness. Discover all the ways you can find and connect with a primary care provider at mountain.commonspirit.org.
In a crisis, your number one need is food, because when things go sideways, it's always one of the first things to sell out. But if you wait to stock up, all you'll find at the grocery store are crowds of desperate people and empty shelves. That's why FEMA and the Red Cross say you need at least 72 hours of non-perishable food. But here's the good news. For Patriots, the trusted preparedness company is offering listeners of this station a special buy one, get two free deal on its best-selling 72-hour survival food kits. This new and improved kit has 20 servings of delicious food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all designed to last for 25 years. It sells for $29 and has been rated 4.4 stars by thousands of happy customers. But when you act quickly and buy one kit, you will get two more kits absolutely free. That's 3 kits for the price of one. $58 in free food. Go to freefood1.com. That's freefood1.com. This deal won't last. Go to freefood1.com now.
Discover the best of senior living at Trio Orem and Trio South Ogden. Today's older adults aren't wrapping up their life's journey, they're seeking a new one. And Trio Independent Living is here to help them do just that. With a smart, modern, and connected lifestyle, residents cultivate relationships and maximize independence through signature programs like Prime Fit Wellness that bring living well and well-being to life. Welcome to the new age of senior living. Schedule your visit at leisurecare.com/Utah today.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, the Point of the Mountain State Land Authority is looking into how feasible it would be to use air taxis and delivery drones at the old prison site. Second, a man in Sanpete County is facing 4 years in prison and more than $1 million in restitution for defrauding farmers, using their equipment to take loans out in his name. And third, a man is in the hospital after getting hit by 2 cars early this morning. Right now, it's 75 degrees in Salt Lake City. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
If you feel like your child's class size is just a little too big, you're a little uncomfortable with how many kiddos are in that classroom, you're not alone. In fact, it was Dad Jeffrey Keller, who really fired up this conversation right here on the show. We had him on as the school year was starting up in the Davis district, and he said, my daughter's 5th grade class has 37 kids, and that's not all. The other 5th grade teacher also has 37 kids in her classroom.
My daughter is 10 years old, one of these children, one of 37, in quite a large class for these young minds. A little worried that, look, my daughter's sharp. I think she'll be okay, but I just worry about other kids and just the kids in general, the teachers. This is a lot to put on just one teacher.
Taylor Morgan in today for Dave Noriega, host of KSL at Night, also a lobbyist on Utah's Capitol Hill, and you're also a dad.
Yes, I'm a dad. I have 2 kids that started school this week in the Canyon School District. I have a 3rd grader in elementary school, and I'm not entirely sure how big his class is, but I'm going to find out. I know it's not small, Debbie. He's also in a language immersion program. There are a lot of kids in his class.
Question at hand right now is what Utah lawmakers are asking about this $190 million that they'd set aside to reduce class sizes this year. And it's not just Jeffrey Keller's daughter in the 5th grade who's experiencing 37 kids. They're also hearing stories of 30 kids in kindergarten classes. Let's bring on State Senator Kathleen Reeby. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And you have a firsthand perspective on this because you not only serve on Capitol Hill, but you're also a teacher, correct?
Yes, I'm a full-time K-5 educational technology specialist, and I work in a variety of schools.
Senator, thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you for being an educator. I personally have seen how valuable your firsthand experience as an educator is on Utah's Capitol Hill. You've really had an influence, a positive influence there when it comes to education. Talk to us about the funding here to reduce class sizes. Did you support the $190 million appropriation for class size reduction, and do you feel like it is going where it was intended to go?
I do support it. It's been going on for years, so I was not at the beginning of that funding source. I don't think it's actually going where we would like it to go completely. I think that when we look at class size and we try to dictate that from the state level, it would be really difficult, and some districts are doing a much better job than other districts. Unfortunately, sometimes the state has to force the hand of the districts, and I would be in favor of a cap in our most vulnerable, our most impressionable classes, K through 2, K through 3, building those foundations. If we have to mandate a cap at 27, 25, I would be in favor of that. And I think that this is something that parents talk to me all the time about. They want their kids in a classroom that's intimate and kind and, where we can be reactive to kids' needs in a very, very close way. So this is something that I thought about, and this is something that Carol Spackman-Moss has ran a bill, and I was going to be our co-sponsor, putting a cap on K through 2. Is it going to solve the problems for 3rd through 6th through 12th? No, but is it a place to start? Yes. So this is something that parents bring to me all the time, and I think it's something that the state really needs to be aggressive about right now.
I've covered education many years ago in the 90s, and I covered it not only in the schools, but I also covered the legislature on Capitol Hill and the decisions they were making. forgive me if I've forgotten, but I don't remember there ever being a cap in the state of Utah on class sizes. Would this be a first, or am I missing something?
No, this would be new. This would be a new policy that we'd put into place. I mean, I feel for the districts. I really do. And if you heard them talking about how hard these decisions are, I agree with them. But at the end of the day, what's the product we're selling? Educating our kids. Everything else is secondary to having that kid learn how to read, having a good experiencing, enjoying in the class again. I feel like there's a lot of stress, a lot of strain, a lot of commotion, and this is where we would be beneficial by capping our class size for K through 2. Let's try it. Let's see if it works.
We're speaking with Senator Kathleen Reeby, also a full-time educator, Utah State Senator in minority leadership in the Utah State Senate. Senator Reeby, what is the need, just to really break this down in simple terms, do we need to pay for more teachers to reduce class sizes? Do we need to build more schools? Do we need actual physical classrooms? What is the real need that will help us bring these class sizes down?
I think that there's a lot of flexibility. There's some teachers, some of the districts are talking about the lack of classrooms. And, if you put 2 teachers in one class of 30 kids, that would be beneficial to those kids. If you gave them I think our aides do an incredible job, but, they're not educated teachers working to have all the same credentials as a certified teacher. I would not want to compromise somebody's education by providing aides. I think that teachers in the classroom are what we really need, and it's at a local decision. And so you can put 2 teachers in a classroom. You can put a teacher there half-time, and then she can go someplace else half-time, or he can go someplace else half-time. We have the flexibility to do whatever is needed to make sure our kids are learning. And it's a local control decision, but when we don't have the controls locally, sometimes the state steps up and says, this is our priority as a state, and we are going to do this.
Senator Reeby, before we let you go, and we've got about a minute or so left, I do want to know, with that $190 million question mark as to whether that funding for class size reduction is going to class size reduction as lawmakers had intended. Are there any plans afoot to do a legislative audit to figure out where districts are spending that money?
Well, I think most of them are spending them in the classrooms. So how to describe reducing class size is going to be a hard thing to measure. Because whether you are using it to have another class, if you're using it to have a teacher aide, everybody's using a different tool to make their classes better. But if we as a body decide that we want to have small class sizes, K through 2, we can make that happen. And if it's a matter of putting more money to that, then maybe we should find it. And if it's just about making a law that says, Jordan School District can do it, so should Canyons, and so should Granite and Alpine and Nebo and Tintic. It's painful. It's always taking one thing and giving it to another. So I'm not saying it's going to be an easy decision, but I think it's something that I feel strongly about, and parents do too.
State Senator Kathleen Reeby, educator, state senator, thank you so much for joining the show.
A cap, the possibility of a cap. Let's talk that out. 25 to 27 students in K through second grade, where kids, I could see that, where kids need a lot more attention from a teacher, whether it's keeping crowd control.
Yeah.
Or they need help with their reading skills, their early education skills. That has never been done in the state of Utah. That would be a huge move.
It would be huge.
And I wonder then what that means for districts that are growing.
It's incredibly difficult, Debbie, and she brought up local control, and this is the real rub here. Local district control versus a mandate from the state. It is no easy feat to implement a cap.
Yeah. First time I'd heard of it, like I said, it's been a long time since I've covered education specifically as a beat. And I was for many years in the 1990s and up on Capitol Hill. And I was like, I've never heard of a mandated cap coming from Capitol Hill. We'll have to track that down and see how that would impact districts now that discussion is being had out loud.
Yeah.
Straight ahead, we got Sully County Mayor Jenny Wilson, who's been at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, joining the show live. She's calling in. I'm curious to hear what her reaction is to Kamala Harris's nomination speech last night.
Let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, the Point of the Mountain State Land Authority is trying to see if setting up a system for delivery drones and air taxis could work. Linda Larson, head of the Utah's NEXA office, explains what makes air taxis so cutting edge.
It's the use of electric motors to create air taxi or point-to-point services for a small number of people. These vehicles carry between 2 and maybe 8 passengers.
Larson says over the next year or so, they will look at the factors that could impact building a vertiport and operations at the Point of the Mountain. During the past year, the FAA has referred 43 unruly passenger cases to the FBI for criminal review. The incidents involving the passengers range from physical to sexual assault to attempts to breach the flight deck. Since late 2021, they've referred more than 310 cases. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Vice President Kamala Harris closed out the Democratic National Convention, accepting the Democratic nomination for president.
Vice President Harris spends most of her day here in Chicago, but she has no public events scheduled. She's receiving briefings and holding meetings with staff. In her acceptance speech Thursday night, the vice president pledging to move this nation forward.
I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Chicago.
Your money at this moment. The Dow is up 461 points right now. We're at 41,174. Coming up, it looks like it'll be a little bit cooler today, 90 for a high, but we'll check it. The KSL forecast is next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Power outages happen year-round, and they're always unexpected. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and some people have medical equipment that needs to stay on, or maybe you don't want the hundreds of dollars of food in the freezer to spoil. Regardless of the reasons, Any Hour Services can help with a backup generator. Now, a lot of people think that backup generators cost thousands of dollars, but we have packages that'll run the essentials and start at less than $2,500. That includes the generator, the connections from the generator to the house, and the installation. We also carry and install larger generators that can run the whole house and kick on automatically when the power goes out. Of course, those cost more, but if you call right now, you can save $1,000 on any standby generator purchase over 9,000 watts. A licensed electrician from Any Hour Services will walk you through the process and show you what options are available. And if you need it, we have flexible financing options available, even if you've been told no in the past. To schedule a free estimate, call Any Hour Services today. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family, together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Here's another satisfied customer of 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, Anita Bennett.
When I first heard about 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, I thought, there's no way they could do a good job in 3 days. And they must carry only the plain Jane basics in cabinets, countertops, and flooring. Then they came to our house and we found out they offered top quality materials with tons of choices and lots of custom options. They worked with us to design a bathroom that was perfect for our family. They looked at our needs and thought of details I hadn't even considered. The installation was clean, thorough, and professional, and they were done in just 3 days. When we got back from the hotel, I couldn't believe the difference. The bathroom is beautiful.
See us on the web at 3daykitchen.com.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, the huge delays we had earlier in the road construction zones are gone. You still have lane restrictions on 114th South in South Jordan. This is eastbound between 600 West and I-15, slowing you down just a smidgen, as well as Legacy Parkway southbound in Farmington. Only the left lane is open there, so you're slightly below the posted speed limit. But, again, the delays are gone, and it shouldn't take you any extra time to get to where you're going. Durden's Appliance is offering Black Friday pricing now and no interest financing through 2026 on single appliance or whole kitchen packages on 5th South and Bountiful or DurdensAppliance.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got a chance of thunderstorms, about a 30% chance. I see some clouds out there right now, but our high temperature today should be 90 degrees. Right now, it's 76 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. The Democratic National Convention. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
In just a matter of moments, we're going to speak live to Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson. I was actually thinking about her last night as I was watching Kamala Harris's speech, and I thought, I wonder how she feels about this, because it was really electric in the arena last night. Taylor, did you get a chance to catch some of that speech?
I did catch some of that speech. And look, even I, a Republican consultant here in Utah, even I have to admit that Democrats put on a good show, Debbie. And I do think that last night Kamala Harris succeeded in what I think was the key task for her, which was to come across as presidential.
And she really had a moment there where it built up, and it was an important part of the speech where she built up to accepting the nomination, where she said, on behalf of, and on behalf of, and on behalf, and I wasn't quite sure where she was going to land at the end of that sentence. And here's where she landed.
On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
And that's how her speech went throughout the night. There were a couple of moments when the crowd kind of quieted, but for the most part, the level of energy was high. I felt like she had to go into this speech delivering something that she needed to prove to the American people, that she has it in her to be the future commander-in-chief. We're going to talk more about that and how I felt like she really did hit that mark in about 10 minutes from now. But let's bring on Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Taylor Morgan in studio with me as well this morning. We're excited to talk to you about last night's experience.
Now, Mayor Wilson, I just want to be transparent and fair, just so you and our listeners know. In my day job, I own a consulting firm here in Utah. It's a Republican firm, and I am consulting your opponent in the November general election. But I'm going to say that and set it aside because we want to focus on the Democratic National Convention and of course, Kamala Harris's speech last night. So with that, can you tell us what it was like to be there? What kind of experience did you have? And what do you think that means, not only for the country, but for Utah?
Well, first I'll say I've had the opportunity to be at several conventions. In 1996, I was in Chicago, and it was a special time for me because my dad was here as well. And I'm experiencing this particular convention with my son. So it's been interesting to be looking at my age in the rearview mirror of our country, experiences I've had as a daughter, and now looking forward at the future. And what does my son, I have another son, but I have one with me, what will they need in the future? What will future generations need? What about Salt Lake County kids who are growing up in my county with challenges? So it's been incredible for me. The 4 days have been just enlightening and inspiring and so well produced. I mean, my goodness, yeah. I was blown away. Most importantly, last night, and you two just alluded to it, Kamala Harris defined herself. She will provide ethical and competent leadership that values democracy. That's the thing that I took away. She and we as a party demonstrated a firm commitment to the people of this country. And I think the people in this country are exhausted for a lot of reasons. And it's time for us to be inspired and believe we can make change. And my son felt that way. The younger people in the hall that I had a chance to talk to felt inspired and excited and ready to get to work. And I really have to emphasize that her message was not a message. It was clear. This wasn't just a message for Democrats. This was a message for America. Let's set aside our partisan differences. Let's unite, and let's make change that matters to people. It's what I try and do every day in my job, and I hope that everyone, no matter their role in our nation, will be inspired to set aside political differences, to love your neighbor, and to do things that matter or not just for our personal success, but for our collective success.
Mayor Wilson, I was thinking of you last night as I was listening to Kamala Harris's acceptance speech the first time. And then I woke up this morning and I listened to it again, and I just jotted down some notes. I mean, throughout the convention, we learned things about Harris that I think largely voters were unaware of. I mean, she's worked at McDonald's, and former President Bill Clinton joked if she gets in the White House, she would be the one president who ended up at McDonald's or was at McDonald's more than he was. And she really appealed during the speech last night to the middle class. She talked about moving to different states with her mom and dad, and then the divorce that her parents went through, and how she decided to become a prosecutor after one of her classmates confided in her that she was being abused by her father, and then she immediately said, "You have to move in with us," and wanted to protect her friend and then go on to protect others. I felt like last night she really hit on a lot of points that could resonate with perhaps undecided voters and maybe people who are they're not quite sure how they feel about voting again for President Trump. And I'm sure you're going to probably agree with what I said on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a woman who it was clear her family values were demonstrated by her telling of her story. And her husband, Doug, who I had a chance to spend a little time with a couple months ago, and he's amazing, and their love story is amazing. So I think there was so much about her journey and story, absolutely, that Americans can relate to. And she was one of these people. I mean, you've seen it time and time again with our Democratic presidents, from Bill Clinton to Barack Obama, who didn't come from privilege and wealth, but found a way to break through, focused on education. And I think that's one of the key points, that we in the state of Utah need to continue to create a vibrant platform for education so that kids like Kamala Harris have a chance to have a successful high school, get off to an amazing college, pursue careers, in the case of the future president, the career of the law, and apply it in the right way for the benefit of people. And I think that's what is making me most proud to be a Democrat right now. I work across party lines. I enjoy doing that. We just passed a bond, a proposal to move a bond to the people by a vote of 8-1. I worked so hard with my Republicans to listen to them, to understand where they come from. I see that in Kamala Harris, that we won't be partisan, that we will work together as a nation. That's what's most important to me right now. We are too divided. Again, I stand for my party's values. We could have an entire interview on that. The point is we have to set aside our partisan differences, work together to solve the challenges in this nation, and I believe she'll do that.
Thank you so much. Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson joining us, following up on the Democratic National Convention in Chicago.
Yeah, we're going to continue this conversation because I felt it was really important that last night Kamala Harris focused on how she would work as a future commander-in-chief, and there was a specific point in her speech where I felt that she really showed that she has what it takes to take on that role. It was a critical moment in the speech. I want you to hear it next.
It's Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic.
If you have some extra weight that you're hanging on to, just hanging on to it for dear life, that's how it feels sometimes. You just can't get rid of it. Well, that was me. I had a bunch of weight that I've gained over the years, and I wanted to lose it, so I joined a program. I joined Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Part of the reason I chose Salt Lake City Fat Loss is because they said they could deliver incredible results, up to 1 pound of fat a day. And sure enough, I lost 57 pounds in just 60 days. I did it without injections. I did it without surgery. I didn't have any insane exercise routine that I had to follow, and there were no prepackaged meals to buy to keep my calories down. They taught me how to eat healthily and to keep it off. The results were so great, I was able to stay motivated. So if you're interested, go ahead and reach out to Salt Lake City Fat Loss by going to their website, slcfatloss.com. If you use my name, Dave, you're going to get an extra $200 off the program. Just go to slcfatloss.com.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Imagine struggling with a slow, outdated computer that takes forever to load anything, that randomly freezes up and is filled with viruses and malware.
Now picture yourself with a powerful desktop or laptop that runs smoothly and efficiently, making your work and entertainment seamless.
Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over 1 terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
That precious cool air inside your house shouldn't be seeping out through old drafty windows, but if it does, get stylish new windows and frames at factory direct pricing from Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Advanced Window Products has been building windows here in Salt Lake City for 38 years, but even if you don't need windows, they can give your interior a fresh new look with blinds, shades, and shutters from Graber. They offer custom-crafted window treatments featuring the trendiest designs, premium materials, and quality without compromise. Advanced Windows offers start-to-finish service with shorter lead times, so you get your custom blinds, shades, and shutters sooner. Call them for a free in-home consultation with their designers. It's a no-pressure experience, and if you need new windows, $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Or if you need window treatments, it's Advanced Window Products. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindowsusa.com.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Kick off fall with Labor Day deals at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on select interior paint via Lowe's gift card rebate for your next paint project. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members save more on select 1.5 pint or 1 quart mums. Get 5 for just $10. Shop these can't-miss deals today before they're gone. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. More terms and restrictions apply. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change. See lowes.com/rebates for details.
Master Electrical Services, home of the upfront pricing guarantee.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, our precipitation levels have rebounded after storms. They were below average in the summer, but now we're right on track. Second lanes will be closed in Draper today, heading east on 114th South between State Street and 7th East. It will last until 5 p.m. today and then close again tomorrow overnight. And third, Utah-based real estate company Homey is filing an antitrust lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors, saying their efforts to get innovative companies out of the real estate industry are unfair and illegal. Right now, 76 degrees and cloudy in Salt Lake. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. The Democratic National Convention. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Just got off the phone with Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson, who's been back in Chicago for the Democratic National Convention, for her reaction to Kamala Harris's speech last night, her acceptance speech, and Taylor Morgan in today for Dave Noriega. I have my own take, and I'll walk you through it in just a moment. I felt it was very critical that she spend part of that speech explaining how she would work and be as a future commander-in-chief. She got to the point in the speech where I felt she delivered, but perhaps you feel differently about the speech she delivered last night, Taylor.
Well, no, I actually think I agree with you more than I disagree with you, Debbie, on this. However, I want to be very clear that, look, Kamala Harris had 2 objectives last night. She, number one, had to reintroduce herself to the nation and to voters to let them know who she is. In large part because, Debbie, she's been our vice president for the last few years, but she's been kept out of public view. And that I have issues with that, but we'll save that for later. So number one, reintroduce herself to voters. Number two, give voters a sense of what she would be like as commander-in-chief. I thought she accomplished both of those tasks. I thought she did a good job, Debbie. But she did so in a very controlled, very safe environment at the DNC. Now, whether or not that translates to real voter support, I have a lot of doubts and a lot of questions about that. But again, in a safe space, on a stage, a well-crafted presentation.
With 15,000 supporters.
Exactly. We all knew these people are going to cheer for every line, no matter what, right?
But I'm the outsider trying to look at this, watch it on my phone, feeling like she had to get to this point in her speech. It took her a little bit to get there.
Yeah.
The speech was about, 40 minutes long. This moment came 25 minutes in, where she talks about Ukraine and the Russian invasion of Ukraine and her meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky.
5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine, I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade. I helped mobilize a global response, over 50 countries, to defend against Putin's aggression. And as president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies.
So she sends a clear signal. She's going to stand strong with NATO, and she's going to stand strong with Ukraine.
Yeah, she takes credit for, I don't know that I believe her Debbie, entirely her claim when it comes to Ukraine. But I do believe
Like you kind of wonder who else was in the room.
Well,
or was it just her?
She was vice president at the time, and certainly we didn't see her involved in any way in the press or in the public, at that time. So again, I'll take her at her word. But Debbie, I have to say, she's not a great speaker. She's not a powerful speaker. We know she's a prosecutor, right? She served as Attorney General in California. So, look, she's a precise speaker, but not powerful. I thought she really benefited from the stagecraft of the DNC last night. She did a good job. She accomplished what she needed to accomplish last night. Again, it's the idea of Kamala Harris that is so powerful. And what she did last night was she reinforced, again, who she is, what she could be. And now, like Boyd Matheson said last week, she needs to just go to the Bahamas.
But I felt it was very important that she addressed the war between Israel and Hamas. I wasn't sure if she was going to address it.
This is, I thought, the best part. This is where she excelled.
I want to listen to, it's almost a 2-minute clip where she does address it, and she addresses it. You said she's not a powerful speaker. I felt like she did address this very powerfully.
With respect to the war in Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done. And let me be clear, I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7, including unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time, what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost. Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
Debbie, I thought this was the best part of her speech last night. She was clear and unequivocal in her support for Israel, and at the same time, she acknowledged the suffering in Gaza. We know this issue has been very divisive in the National Democratic Party. I thought that the way she handled this was perfect. I would give her an A+. Again, this to me was the best part of her speech last night. It was the most compelling part of her speech. And in this moment, Debbie, as someone who has not been inclined to support Kamala Harris, I thought in these 2 minutes, she came across as presidential to me. And that was a big accomplishment for her last night.
The question is, and you alluded to this earlier, Taylor, and I know you have consulted in the past on political campaigns, can she take this message, this presidential message, and have it resonate with undecided voters across the country in a very short amount of time? The runway here is not very long to November.
Look, I think that she had her moment last night. She met the moment, Debbie. And because there is so little time left, she needs to protect the idea of Kamala Harris, right? It is about getting voters excited about the possibility of what she could be like as commander-in-chief. I thought she did that last night. And now, Debbie, her goal is just don't mess it up.
But I don't think she should go to the Bahamas. I think she needs to hit the campaign trail and go meet with Americans.
I disagree.
Okay.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Heather Peterson. KSL's top story this hour. Class sizes are once again a hot topic on Utah's Capitol Hill. Senator Kathleen Reeby said on the David Dujanovic show the kids in K through 2nd are most in need of smaller class sizes.
If we have to mandate a cap at 27, 25, I would be in favor of that. So this is something that I thought about, and this is something that Carol Spackman-Moss has run a bill, and I was going to be our co-sponsor.
This comes after the Education Committee held a hearing earlier this week that questioned school districts on whether money allocated to reduce class sizes was being used efficiently. A man in San Pete County will spend over 4 years in prison and pay more than $1 million in restitution. He and his company promised farmers they would sell their equipment for a cut, but instead he would use the gear as collateral to take out a loan. He never paid the farmers back, and after he sold the equipment, nor did he ever pay back the loan. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the time has come for the central bank to change its policy when it comes to interest rates. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
This is the most forceful way yet that the Fed chair has said interest rate cuts are on the way. This would be the first time the Federal Reserve would cut interest rates in 4 years. And the Fed chair is essentially saying the Fed is on track to do that when it meets again in September.
This comes as concern grows about the job market with hiring slowing. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 329 points. The NASDAQ is up 189. And the S&P is up 44 points. Coming up, temperatures are going to drop over the next couple days. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Someone asked me, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? It's way more than I thought. I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own. More than a dozen. All to keep me connected to my good stuff, my streaming, my gaming, all my interneting. Xfinity knows the number of devices we connect to our internet is growing by the year. That's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds. For real. Now through September 21st, new customers can get Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 2 years when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data. Plus, get Peacock Premium, a $7.99 monthly value included. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it, and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, equipment taxes and fees extra. Gig Wi-Fi requires Xfinity Gateway. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, debunking 3 myths about fiduciaries. And you're going to be surprised about myth number 3. Myth number 1. Fiduciaries are too expensive. Not at Trajan Wealth. Our interests are aligned with yours, so we don't need to push costly investments. The more you make, the more we make. It's that simple. Myth number 2. They will only want to sell me something. Absolutely not. At Trajan Wealth, we have hearts of teachers, and it's our goal to educate and empower, not sell. And the biggest myth? Myth number 3. Fiduciaries are only for the wealthy. Not at Trajan Wealth. Whether you have 50 grand or 50 million, we know it was hard-earned and we'll treat it as such. Let's grow together. So, here's your opportunity for 100% complimentary professional Q&A. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Looking for a beautiful and functional upgrade to your home? 3 Day Blinds has you covered. At 3 Day Blinds, our free in-home design consultation makes it easy. A 3 Day Blinds design expert will help you find the window treatment solution that works best for your home's needs and style. We bring the showroom to you with loads of samples giving you an idea of how different fabrics look in your home. Your designer also provides expert measurements and helps coordinate installation. Book your free in-home consultation by visiting 3dayblinds.com. Take control of your window treatments with Motorized by 3-Day Blinds. Whether you're at home or on vacation, you can operate your window treatments with the touch of a button using the 3-Day Blinds app. 3-Day Blinds has specialized in window treatments for more than 40 years, and it's the name people trust. At 3-Day Blinds, we have stylish and functional window treatments for any occasion. For your free custom same-day quote, schedule your free in-home design consultation now at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
Good news for Davis County drivers. The last of the construction barrels is being lifted off of the roadway right now. We had stopped traffic for almost the entire morning drive as you head south through Farmington, but now all the lanes are open. Shouldn't have any delays as you go into Centerville. We do still have lane restrictions in place, though, on 114 South in Draper, South Jordan area. That has a couple of right lanes open to you, but you have slow traffic from 700 West heading east over to I-15. Attention pet parents, tired of being a doorman for your furry friends? Say hello to Utah's own Pet Door Products, your ticket to convenience and freedom. Visit petdoorproducts.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
A wind advisory will be in effect from 11 this morning to 10 o'clock at night along the northern Wasatch Front, but still highs around 90 today, then dipping to 88 Saturday and 75 Sunday. Right now it's windy and 79 degrees. I'm Heather Peterson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Well, I love talking about the possibility of new technology to take us from point A to point B, including air taxis. In large part because it's probably a flashback to my childhood when I would race to the television, move my sister out of the way, because back then we didn't have remote controls, to make sure we were watching the Jetsons.
Meet George Jetson.
Taylor Morgan in today for Dave Noriega. Now, the Jetsons had this amazing flying car. I never thought we'd see the day where we would actually have air taxis, but that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Coming to Utah, possibly air taxis.
At the point, air taxis. We're not just talking about drones delivering stuff here, Debbie. We're talking about air taxis,
like an Uber for the sky.
I guess so.
Yeah. Would you do it? Would you take one?
I have no idea what that would look like,
would
Debbie.
You
I
fly
have so many. Listen, I will fly in anything. Just give me the chance, right? I'll jump in. But
have you been in a helicopter before?
I have been in a helicopter. It's a lot of fun. I've been in a few. I've been in private helicopters. I've taken some rides in military helicopters.
Ooh.
I'm a big fan, Debbie. But what is an air taxi? How would this work? I have a lot of questions.
Michael Ambray is the Point Interim Executive Director. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, so let's talk about this plan at the Point, which is a kind of a new development of businesses and commercial and retail and housing right there at the point of the mountain where the old prison was, and air taxis, and what the objective is to start studying the possibility of this, Michael.
Yeah, so, we looked into this. It's a new technology. It's out there. It's been out there. It's been around for about 10 years. I don't think anybody has implemented a full-scale vertical transport system yet, but we've kind of moved into the second phase of our study to see if this is reality, if this is feasible, if this is really going to reduce congestion, is it going to improve air quality, improve quality of life for Utahns. So that's kind of where we're at now is doing a deeper dive into studying this.
Now, can you tell us, and maybe I'll just ask selfishly here, because I live in Draper. I live just on South Mountain up off of Traverse Ridge Road there. And every day when I'm coming down the hill there, I look out at the huge swath of land that is going to be the point development there at the south end of Salt Lake County. And it is just vacant now. I believe the demolition is complete now. What is next? What should I expect to see happen on that land that comprises the point next?
Yeah, good question. So right now we're bidding out what we're referring to as Porter Rockwell Boulevard. It'll connect 6 West to 146 South. And there'll be several other bid packages coming out in the next year, including a water tank, transmission lines from that water tank, and then we have what's called our loop roads, which comprises of the first phase of this project. So a bunch of backbone infrastructure is what you can expect to see over the next 2 years.
Okay.
And then as far as the development is concerned, we've got high-density residential going in. We've got the promenade, which is kind of the central hub of the entire project. That'll be going in. And then we have an office building as well. And potentially we have Convergence Hall, which is a higher ed building that's kind of an innovation hub.
And we've talked about the point several times on this show, Michael, and it's kind of a work, stay, and play concept, a shop and dine. And then there's this air taxi component that just fascinates me. How many do you foresee if this does indeed become part of the plan? How many air taxi stops would there be, and where would you fly or vertiport people to?
So, okay, those are great questions, and that's actually what we're studying now, right?
Right.
How many of these vertical transportation ports do we need? Where do we go from here? And that's all part of this study. Is it feasible? How many trips do we reduce by adding this type of transportation in the mix? So that's all kind of being studied.
Okay, I think Debbie just came up with a new verb on air, vertiport.
No, it's been used
Is that
before.
in the press release, Debbie? Is that a real word?
But you're also looking at you're as part of this, aren't you looking at drone delivery too? So people can get residents or business owners can get things dropped off by a drone, and they're using that in South Jordan, right?
They are, yeah, zipline. You're correct. So yes, that's a big part of this. The thought there is, you reduce sort of these truck deliveries, right? Maybe Amazon, maybe taking big semis off our I-15 and transporting things through the air. That's all part of this study as well.
It sounds very futuristic to me. I live in South Jordan. I've never used the drone delivery service. I mean, I would be curious to know, how that would help me. But it sounds like the point to me. It just sounds like you're kind of in this future mode of what's the future of travel, and is air travel feasible, and where do we fly people to? Is it to the airport, or is it to other areas of the state where they need to get to go? And then on top of it, can we get their prescription medications dropped off via drone?
Yeah, absolutely. And not only are we looking at air transportation, but we're also looking at various other modes of futuristic transportation, if you will, right? Like autonomous vehicles and on a circulator you could use a mobile app and call in, and it'd be like an Uber without a driver kind of thing. And then there's, we're looking at something that resembles like a gondola that would take you around the city via cable. So, I mean, we're looking at all types of transportation and what.
So like a ski lift kind of gondola in the middle of the point?
A little bit, but the difference would be if the cable would be fixed, and then the cars along the cable they would travel along the cable. So you could, again, it's a mobile app. They're putting this in New Zealand, in a city in New Zealand. And we're kind of excited to actually look at how this works. And then you could, program where you want to get picked up and where you want to be dropped off. And so it has the ability to do that instead of being on a fixed cable, if you will.
Huh. Now, we're speaking with Michael Ombre, Interim Executive Director at The Point. Michael, why is The Point so important when it comes to these kinds of future-focused transportation innovations? Why is The Point really a catalyst for these efforts?
Well, I think we would all agree the congestion has gotten real, right? And I don't think the answer is just widening roads or adding cars or more roads. We need to think bigger, right? We need to kind of look towards the future and ask what potential possibilities are out there. And I think the point gives us that ability to rethink everything. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so important.
Fascinating stuff, Debbie. Michael Ombre, thank you so much for joining us. He's interim executive director at The Point. Debbie, he makes a great point there. Yeah. No pun intended. I live at the south end of the valley, and it is crowded. There's a lot of congestion, and looking ahead, I personally am very worried about how that development could further impact congestion and traffic. So I love that we're being creative and innovative with ways to address congestion in that area while developing it.
Autonomous cars, a gondola-like human delivery system.
Yeah, I just want to know, is it going to cut down on the DoorDash time, how long it takes to get Cafe Rio from the store to my home?
Hey, look,
will it cut down?
You just need a restaurant close to your house you can walk to. Straight ahead. Hey, Taylor, you were in on Monday when we talked about these panic buttons that teachers are now wearing in some schools. It's part of a new push by Capitol Hill to keep our kids safe. They push the panic button, and it goes right to law enforcement. And so we thought, let's reach out to the police departments and figure out how this is going to look on their end. And we're going to have one department on live straight ahead to tell us how they will respond when a teacher pushes the panic button.
It's finally Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic. The Cougars are back in the business of rivalry.
We have TCU and Baylor, but at the top is Utah and BYU.
The big time in the Big 12 just got bigger.
The Cougars win it! The Cougars win it! And here come the fans!
8 days to the season kickoff. BYU, Southern Illinois. Listen to Cougar Tracks for updates each day. 7:55 in the morning and 5:55 in the afternoon on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio.
Hey, I'm Jake Harward. I'm a farmer, and folks often ask me how we are able to have the freshest corn all the way to October. That's easy. We stagger our plantings. For example, this field over here is ready to pick right now, and that field over there with all the corn stubble we finished picking a couple of weeks ago. Stop by our green roadside stands for our picked fresh every day non-GMO sweet corn, tomatoes, peaches, cantaloupe, and watermelon. Click online to harwardfarms.com for a list of our locations. Fresh from our family's farm to your family's dinner table.
Harward Farms. For the right repair and the right paint, the right choice is manufacturer-certified Martins Collision Repair. Hi, I'm Tiago Martins, and few have met the rigorous certification by Kia, Ford, Infiniti, Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Hyundai, and many others. But it's one more reason that Martins is your right choice. Check online at martinscollision.com. On State Street in Orem and in Salem, we work with all insurance companies.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martins Collision Repair.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales. Our show will be live today from NPS in Orem. Now, Steve, after never having been to the Orem store in the year that I've been on the movie show, I've now been here twice in the last couple of months, and it's so great.
I love this store. This is a really nice one.
Yeah, Darlene joins us now from NPS here in Orem. Darlene, I noticed you guys have an extra deal. So first of all, for people who are new to NPS, you guys have 20 to 70% off of all your retail items over what they'd be at other places. Brand new, in-the-box kind of stuff. But then you guys do cool sales on top of that where you multiply the savings. So you look at this price tag and you're like, wow, that's not very much. And then you look and see a sign that says, oh, yeah, and take this much more off of that. What deals like that do you have going today?
Today we do have the 65% off all of our clothing and accessories.
Oh, ding, ding, ding.
Which is great for going back to school.
That is actually perfect for going back to school and terrible for me because I was like, okay, I'm not going to buy any clothes today when I walk in. And what's the deal?
Clear out your fat closet and buy all this new stuff.
That's what I did.
Oh, you already did that?
Yes.
Oh, then you're done.
In fact, I'm wearing an NPS shirt that I bought and NPS pants today. And
he is the poster child for this place. I'm not kidding.
I'm telling you, these are amazing deals. And I was looking. You guys had a whole rack of gorgeous-looking dresses, 65% off the already low price. So basically, you're going to look at that price, and you're going to pay 1/3 of what's on that tag, basically.
Exactly.
It's crazy. And you're going to walk out of here with so much. I walked out of here one time, 2 dresses, 80 cents total.
These for his kids, right? Please?
It was for my kids. But those are the kinds of deals that you're going to find at NPS. We're at 475 North State Street in Orem. So Utah County, you don't have to go very far to come and get deals. You've got UVU starting back up. You've got BYU starting up, plus all the Provo and Utah County school districts up. Come and get your back-to-school shopping done here at NPS. Pay very little. Darlene, what's the other hot product today? What do you think?
We do have office and school supplies at 25% off, and electronics for computers and stuff at 25% off also.
So basically everything you need is already at a discount. You don't wait till after school starts. You throw the sales on before it does. So go to any of the 4 NPS locations. There are store-specific sales at each one, 1150 North Main in Layton, 1600 South Empire Road in Salt Lake City. And join us here on the Movie Show at 475 North State in Orem.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Business owners, make your customers feel like MVPs with a smooth, safe, pothole-free parking lot. GoPave Utah can repair your asphalt or concrete surfaces. Check them out at GoPaveUtah.com.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Heather Peterson. First, Utah lawmakers are discussing how to reduce class sizes in K through 2nd grades. Second, a man in San Pete County is spending time in prison and paying a hefty fine after farmers gave him their equipment to sell, but he used them as collateral for a loan instead. Third, the Federal Reserve Chair says they plan to make their first interest rate cut in nearly 4 years. Right now it's 77 and partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Back to school. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, earlier this week, we spoke to State Representative Ryan Wilcox, who has really spearheaded a push to make schools more secure, keep kids safer. And one of the things that we talked to him about was these newer teacher panic buttons that some teachers are wearing that they can push just in case a threat comes into the classroom or even if there's a major medical emergency.
The cell phone reliability just isn't there. To be frank, in a lot of our schools, they don't work at all. Some of that's because of the construction. Some of that's because we gave exemptions for construction standards for schools for whatever reason 20 and 30 years ago.
Yeah, Debbie, when I heard Representative Wilcox talk about giving schools exemptions when it comes to building standards, I had a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. And again, any attempt to increase the safety of our kids in our schools is something I can definitely get behind. Debbie, I am still not persuaded that this is the best use of tax dollars when it comes to schools. I mean, listen, we've been talking for the last 2 hours this morning about the class sizes in our schools. And we're going to spend how many millions of dollars on these panic buttons? I just have a lot of questions still.
We talked earlier this week in terms of the Davis County school districts implementing these, the Weber County school districts implementing the Weber County school district, the classrooms arming teachers with panic buttons. So we thought it would be interesting to find out how the Weber County Sheriff's Office, that's how we got there with the Weber County Sheriff's Office, after talking to the Weber County School District, the Weber School District, how they would be implementing this on their end. Like when the teacher pushes the panic button, what happens? Lieutenant Colby Ryan, hi.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi, how are you?
Took me a minute to connect the dots there, but it was the Weber County District that we spoke to earlier this week, and now you were with the Weber County Sheriff's Office. So this all makes sense to our listeners as to why we're asking you to join the show. So you're over the Sheriff's Office school security program. Perfect person to talk to, Lieutenant. So walk us through what happens. A teacher pushes this button that's around their neck, and then what? Does it go to the dispatch center there?
So that's still in the working phase of what notifications are going to be sent out. It'll depend on each school district on which panic alert devices that they purchase for their districts. Most of the ones that we've learned or I've learned that are going into the school district do have a program to either notify the front office and or notify a local dispatch agency. So it could go either way on which ones the school district chooses to use.
I see. How will it work in your area?
We actually have two different school districts in our area, the Ogden School District and the Weber School District. So we're still working with them to see how that notification is going to ultimately look like, as well as working with our Weber Consolidated Dispatch to see what will be the best way to implement this program with, number one, not overwhelming the dispatch centers, and number two, the resources are dispatched as quick as possible, whether it be a medical emergency, an ungovernable juvenile, or something worse as a active threat to the school.
Lieutenant Colby Ryan with the Weber County Sheriff's Office. Lieutenant Ryan, at least in theory, I know, to be clear, that you're still working through implementation of these panic buttons there in the Weber School District. In your experience, could these panic buttons potentially reduce response time? Could these be effective, at least in theory?
Oh, absolutely. I was listening to the earlier show you did, and with Representative Wilcox, and usually a dispatch time for a school would be right around, from the time it's dispatched to officers arriving on scene, is average about 3 minutes. But with the schools and cell phone coverage, I worked as an SRO for years, and I know once you get into these bigger schools, your cell phones do not work in the middle of the buildings. So anything we can do to up the response time so our deputies and officers get there quicker is beneficial in the outcome of the incident.
So it sounds like the breakdown could potentially come with the call to 911 not being able to even get out of the building. And so a panic button would be, there would be a system in place where it would more immediately bypass whatever problems the cell phones are having to get an alert to the dispatch center and get cops dispatched quicker. Is that kind of what am I understanding that right, Lieutenant?
Yes, absolutely. Because these programs, when they set them up in the schools, they don't have to worry about the cell phone coverage or an alert not going through with some of the web-based programs. And even in a power outage, Some of the web-based programs won't work inside of a school without the Wi-Fi of the school.
Well, Lieutenant, we're going to keep. We got to go because we got to get to our break here. But I tell you what, our team of reporters and producers are going to keep up with the Weber County Sheriff's Office on this, and you as well, to find out like how this looks once it's implemented on your end. and how the tests go, and how this does, if it does indeed cut down response time. So thanks so much for joining the show and walking us through what the plans are and why this is, maybe this eliminates your concerns, Taylor, about, are we spending money in the right place? Look, if a teacher can't dial 911, or if they can dial 911, they don't get the signal out. That's a huge problem.
Lieutenant Ryan said it could cut down response time, and I think that is a big deal. Yeah.
Straight ahead, we're sticking with the theme of back to school. Next, we're going to talk about the issue of large class sizes. We heard from a parent not too long ago, who's going to join the show again, that his daughter is facing, there's 37 kids in her 5th grade class, and then the 5th grade class right next door to her classroom also has 37 kids. So we spoke this morning to Senator Kathleen Reeby on Utah's Capitol Hill and talked about one of the possibilities that lawmakers are considering, at least from K to 2nd grade, is putting a cap on class sizes, something that has not been done before in the state of Utah.
If we have to mandate a cap at 27, 25, I would be in favor of that. So this is something that I thought about, and this is something that Carol Spackman-Moss has ran a bill, and I was going to be our co-sponsor.
The dad who started this conversation over concerns about his daughter's crowded classroom rejoining the show next with his reaction to that idea.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Heather Peterson. KSL's top local story this hour. A man is in critical condition after getting hit by 2 cars this morning. Sandy Police Sergeant Greg Moffitt says the drivers didn't see the man because he was possibly lying in the road.
But we know that he was hit by 2 vehicles. The drivers of those vehicles did remain on scene. They are cooperating with the investigation. There's no sign of impairment from either one of the drivers.
This happened at near 8800 South and State Street. TSA is expecting to screen a record-breaking 17 million people over Labor Day weekend. The Deseret News reports some flyers are concerned after last month's software glitch that grounded thousands of flights. Fortunately, Salt Lake City International is ranked 5th in the nation for on-time departures. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland is announcing a new antitrust lawsuit against the real estate company RealPage over an alleged price-fixing scheme that helped landlords raise rents on listed properties.
We allege that this software is developed, marketed, and sold to enable landlords to sidestep vigorous competition in the rental market.
The lawsuit alleging the real estate software company engaged in a collusion scheme with landlords that resulted in higher prices for renters across the country. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 187 points, the NASDAQ is up 130, the S&P up 25. Coming up, windy weather cooling us down. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
In 2024, dating is a disaster. We've been ghosted, breadcrumbed, stuck in situationships. Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm Caitlin. Welcome to our new podcast, Dating at Her Age. Dating has been so dicey for us, we asked KSL, can we launch an all-new podcast about it?
People use these dating apps. You're not really dating when you're on the dating app.
Dating at Her Age, brought to you by Mountain Home Services. A new episode drops every Thursday on KSLNewsRadio.com.
We are at NPS. I triple dog dare you to come to NPS here at 475 North State in Orem, where Steve and I are doing the movie show today from 11 to 1. And here's a chance to get back to school wardrobe shopping done for a fraction of the cost as your kids wander in the latest styles and looking to the nines. And then everyone will say, wow, you must have hit all the high-end clothing stores. And you can be like, sure. But really what you did is you made the best use of your dollar by going to NPS, and you took 65% off the lowest marked price.
That's for movie show people today.
Yes. Is that right, Darlene?
Yes.
Only today, right?
Well,
maybe tomorrow too. Yeah. But this is like a short-term movie show deal.
Yep.
We like movie show deals.
Yeah.
But here, even if you don't take advantage of the clothing deal, you can get your groceries for less here at NPS. They've got deals on all kinds
my
of
two
stuff.
lamps.
I mean, you got Labor Day coming up. That's the last barbecue weekend, right, of the year. Don't you want to stock up on stuff? Come to NPS, get the stuff you need. I see sodas stacked over there. You're going to get them better priced than you will at the grocery store.
Oh, no question.
There's just so many great things, Darlene. What's your favorite thing to buy here at NPS? Because I know that you shop here, too.
I do. Besides the clothes, I get a lot of electronics from here. So.
Oh, yeah, good thing. You know what? You guys have a great selection of tools also. Last time I was here, I almost bought a table saw. I just didn't have big enough space in my trunk to take it home. I need tools, Steve. Look, I don't have the whole stock like you do.
The scary thing is if you had a truck, you'd be broke.
I probably would. It's probably good that I don't work at NPS because I'd only take home like a 35-cent paycheck every time.
There's a 50-inch television over there for $209.
What?
50-inch flat screen, $209. Come on.
These are the kinds of deals you can get at NPS. 20 to 70% off the lowest price, or off of the retail price that you'd see at other places, and it's the same merchandise. Sometimes it's stuff that the trucks couldn't get delivered, and then by law they have to refuse it. So it's like, well, what do you do with it? Well, NPS says, well, we'll buy it, and we'll let you buy it for almost nothing.
Right.
It's just a great deal, Darlene. Great business model, great place to save. That's actually a nice place to save. That's what we say NPS stands for. 4 locations, 2 in Salt Lake at 1600 South Empire Road, 1 in Layton at 1150 North Main, and here in Orem at 475 North State.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
We're finally delay-free all across the Wasatch Front. It's the first time all morning long for about 5 hours since the commute began. Right now, you're going to be at good speeds on I-15 throughout Utah, Salt Lake, and Davis counties, both directions. All the barrels have been lifted from Legacy Parkway, so no problems there as you head south through Farmington. And a good commute if you need to get through the mountains on I-84, I-80, and through Provo Canyon. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures will drop over the next few days. Today a high of 90, tomorrow 88, and Sunday 75. There is a wind advisory going into effect at 11, and that lasts until 10 o'clock tonight. Right now it's partly cloudy, windy, and 77 degrees. I'm Heather Peterson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
And our top story is lawmakers asking, where'd the money go? Utah lawmakers set aside close to $200 million to reduce class sizes this year. And yet hearing reports of kindergarten classes of 30 students.
Yeah.
And a 5th grade class two 5th grade classes, at least in the Davis district, at 37 students each. And they've been questioning, like, where is this $200 million that they send to the districts to reduce class sizes going?
Where is it going? And I thought that Representative Candace Perucci from Harriman, who is House Chair of the Education Interim Committee, I thought she said it really well, Debbie. She said, if we're going to put $190 million into something, we should be able to measure it. And I agree.
And we asked State Senator Kathleen Reeby, also a school teacher, to join the show earlier, as she's been involved as well as on this committee, and asking, like, you know, where's the money going? And she said it would be difficult to some degree to track how that money in the matrix and how that money was spent by the districts. But she also brought up what I thought was the most important point of the show so far, and that is that she would be willing to support a cap of 25 to 27 students for the most impressionable age groups, meaning K through 2nd grade, a cap on how many students can be in a class. Let's listen.
Our most impressionable classes, you know, K through 2, K through 3, building those foundations. If we have to mandate a cap at 27, 25, I would be in favor of that. So this is something that I thought about, and this is something that Carol Spackman-Moss has ran a bill, and I was going to be our co-sponsor, putting a cap on K through 2.
Taylor Morgan in today for Dave Noriega. Often you can hear him on KSL at night. You're also a lobbyist on Capitol Hill, so you have a different day job than being on the radio here with me. What's your reaction to this idea of a cap?
It's interesting, Debbie. It is certainly something that I have heard discussed before on Utah's Capitol Hill, but never, ever implemented. And, Debbie, that's because there is a price tag associated with implementing that kind of a cap, and the price tag is enormous. I don't have an exact figure I can cite because it is that big. It is astronomical.
Hiring teachers, more classrooms.
Right. And the legislature did put $190 million directly to class size reduction last year. This is something the legislature has put money toward specifically since 1996. And I think the big question that we have, our listeners have, certainly the dad in Davis County that we're going to speak to has, is it having an impact, Debbie? Where is this money going?
Jeffrey Keller, I think you're the one. I'm going to give you some credit for starting this conversation this school year. You emailed the media concerned over the fact that your daughter's fifth grade class and even the class, fifth grade class next door to her has 37 kids, 74 kids for 2 teachers. Were you surprised to hear in our reporting and other news outlets reporting that there was this near $200 million set aside for class size reduction by lawmakers to send it to the districts this year?
Hi, Debbie. Hey,
Hi.
Taylor. Yeah, appreciate you having me on and appreciate you carrying the conversation on. I think this is something we need to continue to discuss to hopefully see some change and some impact. But this almost $200 million, the $190 million, specifically earmarked for reducing classroom sizes, right? That's great. I mean, we need the funding, right? But what concerns me there is, again, where the accountability, and that's what was kind of discussed. How can we prove? How do we know that money's actually going toward reducing class sizes? And what does that mean, right? If we say reduce class sizes, is this buying material to make the classroom experience better, or what? It's got to be specifically for reducing those class sizes. That takes teachers. That takes, be additional portables at a school or expansion on a school, et cetera, right? So I'd love to see the accountability behind these things. Like you said, Taylor, there's got to be money behind these things, right? And that's no easy feat, right? But if we're going to dish out money, we've got to make sure that we're holding folks accountable for what that money's doing, how it's being put to work, right?
Yeah, the House chair of the Legislative Interim Committee. Now, Debbie, I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but during the off season, also called the interim, the legislature continues to meet. The the Interim Education Committee has members of the House and the Senate. They are taking a look at this, and they just recently heard testimony from chairs of various school districts, including the Jordan School District. And even school districts were expressing some concerns about how the class size reduction money, how that is being allocated. And according to some of that testimony, that money is essentially often just being used as a block grant for schools. Sometimes schools aren't specifically spending it on class size reduction. They're spending it on other needs.
Jeffrey, what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, see, and that's where I say the accountability. I mean, we can earmark money for certain things and say that we're attacking the problems head on, et cetera. But if the accountability isn't there, it's not accomplishing our objective, right? So I'm certainly in favor, right? Let's add funds to where we need those funds, but we've got to make for certain that it's being used for the right reasons. It's actually being used for what it's intended for. And it sounds like maybe there's some wiggle room or gray area there with this one. So
yeah, Jeffrey, talk to me about this cap, about this idea for a cap. Would you support that in your school district?
Yeah, this is interesting, right? And at a surface level, I think that's kind of what you would hope for, right? Is that districts are setting caps for our students. I would rather see this type of thing at a district level than at a state level, right? But if it takes the state getting involved, then maybe it's it's certainly worth the discussion.
Yeah.
I want to be cautious here, right? Because yes, I absolutely agree that K through 2, K through 3, these are the impressionable years, right? We've got to keep those class sizes small. I'd rather have those class sizes smaller than perhaps, our 5th, 6th graders, our junior high or high school. But at the same time, if we set a cap on K through 2 at 25, what does that mean for our high schoolers, right? The law of averages can be a little deceiving, right? If you've got low numbers on one end, almost always that means you've got high numbers on the other end, right? Personal experience, right? My first job out of college, I worked for a big investment bank. And at the time, this investment bank, the average salary of people at this bank was almost $500,000 a year. That was the average. Oh, boy, I would have been thrilled to be making that kind of money, right?
Yeah.
Averages don't paint a true picture. So, again, where I was on the low end of the stick, there were people on the high end that skewed those averages. We've got to be careful about things like a cap. If we introduce a cap in the lower grades, there's got to be a similar kind of cap or model to cascade through the higher grades to make sure that 25 in K through 2 doesn't mean 45 in, 6th or 7th or 8th grade, right?
Well said. I don't know if you planned on being the spokesperson for concerned parents, Jeffrey.
Yeah, thanks,
but,
Jeffrey.
Thank you so much for responding to our ask again today to join the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I've enjoyed our conversations and your thoughtful approach to this. Jeffrey Keller, he's a dad. His daughter's in kids in the Davis district, and his daughter is in a class size of 37.
37
fifth graders.
in 5th grade. I commend her teacher. That is a lot of kids, Debbie. So many 5th graders.
Well, and I compared it the last time we talked to Jeffrey. If I had my daughter come home and say, I want to invite 37 buddies to my birthday party, I'd be like, you can have 7, and that is it. That's my cap.
Friday.
I know you're sick of the political climate, and every day you fight a hopeless war. I know you think your girlfriend hates you in secret, but don't take it out on me. It's nothing to do with me.
With Dave and Dujanovic.
When I was looking for the best way to get rid of all the unwanted fat weight I'd accumulated over the last couple of decades, I wanted 2 things. 1 was something fast, and 2, something that was guaranteed to work. I found both in Soda Weight Loss. I wanted fast and effective? How about letting go of 70 pounds in just 5 months? Soda's great because it doesn't involve any injections or pills. Sure, those might work in the short term, but what happens when you stop taking them? You very often gain it all back, and then some. Soda's program delivers results that last a whole lifetime. Find out why Soda is the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and client results. Go to sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Click the Request a Nutritionist callback button. Within minutes, you'll be on your way to getting back your confidence, improving your health, and learning how to keep it like that for the rest of your life. Remember, SOTA stands for State of the Art.
If you're listening to this Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance ad, there's a good chance that you're alive. And if you're not, well, this may not be of interest to you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Life insurance, I'm gonna live forever. Death is what happens to other people. Well, for the sake of argument, let's assume you're wrong, and that someday you won't be listening to the radio anymore. I know it's not easy to talk about, so I'll do the talking. If you're 50 plus and alive, or 50 to 75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. And since this life insurance is guaranteed, you don't have to get a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out a health questionnaire. For a free quote, visit GerberLifeFamily.com. Then when you stop I mean, if you stop listening to the radio, your family can use the insurance money to help cover your final expenses or anything else. Your kids already inherited your ears, allergies, and questionable singing voice. Don't make them inherit your final expense tab, too. Visit GerberLifeFamily.com. See website for terms and restrictions.
It's the movie show, guys, broadcasting live from NPS, a nice place to save. We are at 475 North State Street in Orem. It's a great day to come by, see your friends at the movie show, and even better, get your back-to-school shopping done.
By the way, for you, NPS means nice place to spend.
It's so true. But it's because I cannot resist a good deal, and that's all I see when I walk in here.
So you said you saw a $108 shirt that was for $25.
Yes, because today they're having an extra 65% off their lowest tagged price. So the original price on this shirt, when it was in its original store, $108. It was already marked somewhere down to, well, let's see, what is, it was marked down to about $75 on the tag. So that's the low price. Then you take another 2/3 off of that, puts you down to $25. So a $110 shirt for $25. Name brand, gorgeous. And I may end up walking out of here with it, so maybe not. But those are the kinds of deals you have at NPS. These are some of the additional ones. You know, it's the end of summer, but we still have another weekend, right, before Labor Day when all the local pools close and things. Swimming suits, 60% off. There's a whole huge rack of women's dresses for 60% off. Men's sandals or men's suits, 60% off. I'm already stocked up on those, so thankfully. But what a great chance to come and do these things. And they've got additional savings at all the stores on different things. There's always a store-specific sale. Darlene here from the Orem store, what's the store-specific sale going on here today in Orem?
That all clothes and accessories are the 65% off.
So that's only here then.
Yeah.
That's an excellent deal. So those are the kinds of things. NPS is 20 to 70% off its base retail price. They've been serving customers in Salt Lake City and the surrounding area since 1968. They've been around a while. And it's only recently that people have really started to get with the program and find out that in a time when prices are going up everywhere, take advantage and make your dollar stretch farther. Get groceries here, man. They beat you. Come here first.
This is the inflation buster right here.
Exactly. Come here first. Get your grocery shopping done as much as you can before you hit the store to pay more. NPS, 4 locations, 1150 North Main in Layton, 475 North State here in Orem, and at 1600 South Empire Road in Salt Lake City.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Heather Peterson. First, a man is in critical condition after being hit by 2 cars in Sandy this morning. Second, the U.S. Attorney General is announcing a lawsuit against the real estate company RealPage over an alleged scheme that caused higher prices for renters across the country. Third, TSA is expecting to screen over 17 million passengers over Labor Day weekend. Right now it's 79 and mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Hey, before we touch base with the movie show, guys, of course they're coming up next. I want to remind you, sign up for the 3 Things You Need to Know newsletter. You know, our reporters here and our producers here at KSL News Radio and KSL TV team up every day to send you the top 3 stories of the day right to your inbox. It's totally free. Join me in getting the 3 Things You Need to Know newsletter. All you got to do is text the word inbox to 57500. Again, text the word inbox to 57500.
The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
Oh, let's get with Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales of the movie show. Taylor Morgan in today, and he just spilled the beans that he went to the movie Twister with his wife.
What? I'm in shock.
Is it Twisters with an S?
Twisters with an S.
Yes.
Okay, what'd you think, Taylor?
As in 2 tornadoes, Debbie. We had a great time. I really, really liked the movie. I liked seeing Dorothy in the trailer, a little bit of a throwback to the original.
And right off the bat, too.
Yeah, right off the bat. I was hoping that Luke Combs might have made a cameo, and he didn't, but overall...
Oh, country superstar Luke
Yeah,
Combs,
I had a lot of fun watching that movie.
Why would he be in
theater.
it? Isn't that his hometown in Oklahoma-ish?
Well, the theme song of the movie, guys. Come on now, right?
Oh, that's right. He did do the thing.
Best
Sorry.
song
See,
of the
I
summer.
knew that. I was trying to see if Steve knew it.
So we're trying to
No, but it's a great to do in the theater. That was a great one to do in
I
theater.
agree, and you guided me in that direction. I saw it in the theater as well. I saw it was coming out, though you can order it on streaming. But I'm like, no, I'm going to head back to the movie theater and watch it again, probably this weekend.
Nice.
But you guys will be focusing on the big movie of the week, which is Blink
We're
Twice.
going to my island for a few days. Do you guys want to come?
This is crazy. Did we just jet off to a billionaire's island with a bunch of strangers? No, he's not a stranger. He's Slater King.
Okay, guys, take it away.
Well, this is a movie directed by Zoe Kravitz, who this is her first time directing a movie. And I actually found out today, I did not know this, she and Channing Tatum have been in a relationship for a couple of years, and they just barely got engaged. He is the billionaire Slater King that they mentioned. So,
And by the way, Slater's in this movie too. What's his face?
Oh, Christian Slater,
Yeah.
yes. So there's all kinds of ties and weird
Slater's
little
everywhere.
things. So basically, you heard in the clip is the setup of the movie. A cocktail waitress played by Naomi Ackie gets invited to a billionaire's private island, where basically everybody just parties hard all day. Then they party hard with illicit substances at night.
Uh-oh.
And then they wake up the next morning and nobody can remember what happened, except for they have like dirt under their fingernails, or
And
they've got like a
isn't-
bruise on their arm, and they just are like,
So I blinked
okay.
3 times, didn't see it. So is
So
somebody
blink
missing?
twice.
Isn't somebody missing?
Well, at some point that happens,
Oh.
but that's the thing is like they've done so much partying, and I mean they're like every time their glass gets low with champagne all day long, it gets refilled. So then she's like, "Well, wait,
horrible.
where's my friend?" And the other people are like, "Who?" And she's like, "No, she was in the room next to me." And then she runs to that room, and they're like, "You mean the storage room?" And there's all the storage stuff in it. So she's like, "Wait, my friend was here, right?" And so basically their daily party comes to where they're like, is something up? Because they're always asking us if we're having a good time, and the answer is yes, we are having a good time, but are we? And so, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going to happen, and really for the first 2/3 of the movie, it's really kind of slow going. And then when stuff starts to happen, it happens fast to where you kind of almost feel like the guests at the party. Like, what is this? Okay. Kind of a boring, repetitive thing, but it's like, isn't it what you want? You get fed all day, you party all night, and you don't even know what day of the week it is because you don't have to.
I mean, you finally get tired of that?
Apparently.
Wow.
And so a lot happens. And then this movie kind of explores the question of, if something bad happens to you, is it better? And if it's going to like cripple you, emotionally or whatever, is it better to just not even remember the bad thing that happened in the first place?
Interesting.
So that was the interesting part of the movie, was that question that it asked. But as you watch it, you will no doubt think, this seems an awful lot like the Jeffrey Epstein kind of island.
Ew.
Well,
So,
okay.
but
kind of
she
a
did
very
specifically
dark
say,
glass onion type of vibe. I'm getting.
yes, very much so, very much so. But it's not horror per se, but when it gets going, lots of bad stuff happens.
Like psychological thriller kind of thing?
Psychological thriller through most of it, yes.
Okay, well, let's talk villains then.
Yes, because here's the thing. Channing Tatum is he good? Is he bad? And as you're watching him, you're like, I could believe he's good or bad, because he's got the charisma of a good guy, but
Yeah, but just because you brought him up means he's the bad guy.
So is that your
Yeah,
is
he
that
is.
your movie show question of the week? Because I've got my favorite movie villain of all time.
Okay.
And I thought my jokes were bad. How about a magic trick?
The Joker.
And you like the Heath Ledger Joker better than, or are you just talking the Joker as a villain?
Yeah, the Joker. Or how about this? Cruella de Vil.
15 puppies. How marvelous, how marvelous, how perfectly. Oh, the devil take it, they're mongrels. No spots at all. What a horrid little white rat.
Why is Cruella one of your favorites, Debbie?
My favorite villain of all time. I think she just plays a great role as a villain. I mean, who doesn't have compassion about puppies, right? I mean-
Okay.
That's a good point.
greatest
I was beginning the
movie-
question, yeah.
The greatest movie villain of all time has to be Anakin Skywalker, a.k.a. Darth.
You underestimate the power of the dark side. If you will not fight,
then you will meet your destiny.
Oh, what do you think about our choices here? I'm excited.
Oh, I can't argue with Darth Vader. That's definitely right up at the top.
Well, except he does have redemption, you know. So there's
that doesn't make him less of a villain.
It's
Although,
the duality
if you
of
want the
being a
guy
villain, right?
that's really bad, how about Hannibal Lecter?
Oh, do I have that one?
Hello, Clarice.
Oh.
Creepy enough,
You know, I guess it depends on what your definition of a villain is. When I was a child, or younger, it would have been, and my kids were, into the 101 Dalmatians, it would have been Cruella.
I got to be honest, in Nightmares when I was a kid, the person I was running from, Darth Vader.
Absolutely.
Really? Especially from Empire Strikes Back, where he was just relentless. Like, he couldn't be stopped. And Luke just was basically trying to stay alive in his fight against him. And that just like, if I was running from somebody, it was Darth Vader who was just relentlessly stalking me.
How about Hans Gruber from Die Hard?
Oh, that's a good one.
See, we all have our definition.
I am an
of what a
exceptional thief, Mr. McClane.
I like how they dropped him
guys.
and he didn't know it was coming.
All right, guys. Well, have a great show. The movie show's up next with Steve and Andy. You guys have a great weekend as well. And Taylor, thanks so much for sitting in for Dave.
Always a great time, Debbie. Thank you for having me.
All right. And let's just leave you with a little bit of dark.
You underestimate the power of the dark side. If you will not fight, then you will meet.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Heather Peterson. KSL's top story this hour. Water managers say the Great Salt Lake could lose more water this summer than it normally does thanks to how hot and dry July was. Deputy Great Salt Lake Commissioner Tim Davis says there's a chance the south arm or main body of the lake could fall right back to where it was a year ago.
We can't rely upon Mother Nature to get us enough water again. She bought us time, but really it's now on us to make sure that we are conserving, dedicating, delivering enough water to the lake.
Davis says whether we lose more than average or not, the lake will still be in much better shape than when it hit a record low 2 years ago. However, it's still far from being healthy. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. ABC News has learned that at least 5 Secret Service members involved in planning the July 13th Butler, Pennsylvania rally where there was an assassination attempt on former President Trump, they have been placed on administrative leave. This comes as Congress seeks more accountability for the Secret Service's actions. Fed Chair Jerome Powell is indicating an interest rate